I was gonna do my video in my car usually where it's my office, but you know what? This is the most peaceful of places to me right here. So we're gonna go back to the Garden of Eden, and that's gonna be one of my topics today. But first, I wanna salute to you. Cheers to all you fine people. We're doing Squid Games in this motherfucker today. I want you to pay attention to something very carefully, okay? I want to talk about magic infringing on the free will of others. We're also going to be talking a little bit about the Garden of Eden, your reality and whatnot. But let's start with this. You notice how there's a lot of questions that, a long time I've been asked about magic, and is it basically infringing on the free will of an individual? And let's talk about this real quick. I want you to look at something real quick. Let's suppose it that somebody wants to be with an individual, right? But that person, the other person, doesn't want to be with the other person. They want nothing to do with them. That person basically will do magic or perform rituals to basically manipulate the universe into working in their favor to attract this person in their life, this specific person. When in actuality, in my opinion, is kind of weak considering the amount of fucking people that are on this planet, the amount of different flavors, variations, shapes, forms, so many things to choose from, yet you're fixated on one individual that wants nothing to do with you. See, when I was going out, particularly partying in New York, there was different girls, you know what I'm saying? But there was certain girls that were like, let's say, super fly, man. I never really had issues getting girls. But the whole thing is there's certain specific girls that were a little stuck up, you know what I'm saying? Where you had to work a little bit harder to get them to soften up to you. You know what I'm saying? But then there was girls who were, you get those girls that are really into you. You know what I'm saying? The ones that you really don't even have to talk. They actually get their friend to pass their number to me. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed at times that the chemistry or the sex was even better with these individuals. You know what I'm saying? And they may have been like an 8 or a 9, but then that 10 that I wanted was a little bit too much work, which I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I like the ones that give me a little bit of work to work with. But anyway, the reason I'm even bringing that up is because there's so many different flavors to choose from, so many different variations and options, that if you're going to go and get fixated on one individual that basically wants nothing to do with you, it says a lot about what you think about yourself to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So here's the important thing to take into account here. If that person wants nothing to do with you and you're doing magic to influence the universe to get that person to want to be with you because that's what you want, then the same way if you believe in karma, sin, and program, all that is basically program. If you believe in that whole programming thing where it's karma, the sin, the whole cause and effect thing, then you are the head of the table. It is most likely to be so. It is done because that's what you believe. But here's the thing though. This is why I came out in previous videos and said that everything works. But it depends on what you believe about you as the individual. Because in reality, there's no cause of anything, right? That's why I said it's very wise to not have blood on your hands, and basically just the visualization. You can imagine you being in the perfect scenario with this person. Since I'm a guy, I'm gonna start talking about it from a guy's perspective. But suppose that I want to be with a girl and I want it to be a perfect relationship. The perfect thing you want to think about or envision yourself in is basically the feeling and emotion around that scenario. So let's say, for example, what does the perfect honeymoon effect look like and feel like to you, right? So what you do is you basically have that person in that surrounding, in that reality, but don't put a face to it. Don't put a face to that individual. Just have that female there with the characteristics, the scent, the body frame, or whatever it is that you want out of this individual. Just don't put a face on the individual at all, and this would be basically not infringing on the free will of the individual. Okay, but now you may have a certain theory about life. Suppose that you're in a simulation, and suppose that in this simulation there's infinite versions of you, there's infinite realities, there's different parallel realities to this one. You just happen to be in this one. We've heard this before when we say that there's a millionaire version of you, there's a poor version of you, there's a gay version of you, whatever version of you, anything that you can imagine, even desire, or let's say reject, that you would never want that to be your possibility, is a possibility. Only because it's in your mind, it's in your psyche, it's a possibility, and it exists in some parallel reality. You're only in this form here because you're vibrating to this frequency. That's why you're here. You may be middle class, you may be very rich, you may be very poor, you may be very happy, you may be very, very, very sad, whatever it may be. You are creating your reality. And this is what you are molding and shaping your reality to. Whatever your mind is on the most is what creates your reality. Kind of like an algorithm, a pattern. Okay? So we're going to talk about this algorithms and patterns, how it has a lot to do with masculine and feminine. But this is why I come down on vegans mostly, these type of movements, because see, if you really want to look at it, they're trying to change the world, right? But, and I'm going to go back to what I'm talking about when it comes down to the magic and free will and whatnot. All this is going to pretty much tie in together. But in order for you to change your reality, you have to change yourself. But you can't actually change reality. See, in objective form, creation's already made. Everything already is done. You can only shape your circumstances. So you would have to change yourself. But whatever you're going up against is never going to go away. It's going to exist. You just won't experience it in your reality. So when you have these movements, you see, the only thing you can do is do peaceful protests. Right? You can't do anything other than peaceful protest. Because you're going up against a force that's much bigger than you. Okay? That's all you can do. You could try to influence others, but you're still going up against a force that's much bigger than you. See, that's going to be a feminine act. Because here's the thing though. This is why, I'll give you the example of women. There's women who want to be equal to the man, but they will never be equal to the man. But all they can really do is protest. Because if they try to perform anything other than a peaceful protest and decided to go masculine, where they went and, you know, went up and started to fucking use weapons like pitchforks and fucking knives and, you know, guns and whatnot, they will get smashed. Smashed. Because in totality, humanity overall is feminine energy. And the reason that humanity supposedly has rights is because they were given rights by the man. But here's the thing though, the man is not a human. It's actually a masculine energy. And whoever's wielding that power, well then that's what you would have to find out. That's what the man behind closed doors is, or the powers that be would be. But they wield that ultimate power. But it's because it's grounded out of a feminine energy. That's the feminine energy that you have no idea how it works. Because the only way you can actually get up and be, like, you know, I'm talking about go up against the system, you would have to have a really fucking powerful feminine energy. Let me explain why. You got guys like Pablo Escobar, you got guys like El Chapo Guzman. See, Pablo Escobar went up against the government. He gave the system a good fight. In fact, he gave the system such a good fight that they had to involve other countries to intervene to actually neutralize this powerful individual such as Pablo Escobar. Same way with El Chapo Guzman, who basically ended up getting arrested. He was stripped of his freedom. He was stripped of his ID, which is basically his life. He has no way of seeing his family, so he doesn't get visitations. He doesn't get anything. He's basically just a number. So whatever idea he thought he was taken away from him only because he stepped out of line. So you see, you run rampant, you do what you got to do, right? You could do what you do, but if you go up against the government or the system and you get out of line, they will fucking straighten you out just like a bitch. Okay? So here's the thing though. This is the reason why, okay? If you're in a religious mindset and you're going up against the forces of evil, that's not the evil that you think of. You see, they actually program you to run away from the left-hand path. They program you to basically, run away from feminine energy to some extent, or run away from evil, turn away from evil, or go up against evil. Okay, this is where the true primordial power is. You see, evil is not in the category of bad. See, evil is just the inversion of what your physical reality is. It's basically the metaphysical. It's feminine energy. Okay, out of darkness comes light. So if you, for example, are here and you think you're the man, you know, you come out here and you say you're masculine alpha male, you ain't a goddamn fucking shit. And I'm talking about you ain't shit. And I'm talking about I'm big dick energy. We're playing Squid Games up in this bitch. And I'm gonna tell you that shit on big dick energy. The king of kings, royalty, big dick energy. And I'm telling you, you ain't shit. Because if you were really an alpha male or the man, trust me, you'd be known as big dick energy. But the thing is, you don't wield that power because you're not under, you're taught to run away from evil or the inversion of what you think is evil. You know, if you even look at the word evil, backwards is live. So you live here under the illusion of these lights. So you think you're somebody because you got all these resources, you got these bitches on your fucking ass, or you, whatever it may be. But you ain't shit. In fact, if you were really about it in the evil form of feminine energy, you wouldn't even be known under these lights. You'd be too powerful. You'd be too powerful. This is why the powers that be, or the powers that we give our power away to, have the power, because you give it away. You forgot who and what you are. And I'm going to explain how we got into this situation that we're here now to begin with. Midgard. But you did it by choice, and there's nothing wrong with it. See, the whole thing is we purposely put ourselves in this situation from what I've seen and from how I see it right now. Okay? So vegans, for example, you can only peaceful protest. That's all you could do. You see how black people, they're considered a minority, right? They're trying to fight to be equal to the man, but they'll never be equal to the man because they're the physical manifestation of feminine energy. That's what black people are, a physical manifestation overall of feminine energy. But they're still in the same gene pool with white people because humanity overall is feminine energy. That's why humanity can only protest. You can't do anything other than protest too, right? If you take up arms, I mean, then you're really doing masculine energy act. But if you are about that, you would have to have a serious fucking evil power backing you up. Okay? That's why they say, even in relationships, behind a good man, there's always a good woman. Okay? Or behind every good woman, there's a good man. Right? Because it creates that balance. But if you start to really balance this aspect of yourself, the feminine energy, your masculine energy will be on point. It's all a guiding force. That's all it is. So we're going to go into basically, let's talk about the Garden of Eden.